Hi, this is Rob from dnbalmanac.com with This Week in Dave Matthews Band History. And this week in 1999, Dave played some of the biggest shows of the tour with 2 broken ribs. Prior to the May 29, 1999 show at Foxborough Stadium in Massachusetts, the band was passing time by throwing grapes and catching it in their mouths, but Dave fell backwards, breaking both his guitar and 2 ribs. The show still went off without a hitch, though, featuring Santana on several songs the first night and Bela Fleck and the Flecktones night 2. You can find all the stadium shows and check in on the current summer tour at dnbalmanac.com and follow us on Facebook and Threads to get daily updates with everything that happened that day in the band's history.
Have you ever stopped to think about the fans behind a band? What is it about the music that keeps fans coming back for more? Or is there more? My name is Renae Lipsmeyer, and I am the host of this podcast, The Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of the Dave Matthews Band. Each week, a fellow DMB fan joins the show to discuss their journey with the band. Welcome to the Space Between Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Space Between Podcast, the podcast where we talk about the fans of one band and one band only. If you have never listened to the Space Between Podcast and you do not know about this band, first of all, thank you for being here because you're about to learn so much about a band that you don't even know about. If you've never heard of the Dave Matthews Band, that's okay. It's not too late. They are still touring. They're still making music. But you're going to hear us talk about a lot of history because this band came out in 1991 in what was a smaller town in Charlottesville, Virginia. It is now a little bigger now. Of course, that's where the University of Virginia is. There's so much history about this band because they started over 30 years ago. In this over 30 years, they have picked fans up from everywhere because they literally are touring worldwide. They have fans from every corner of the globe. And so there are thousands and thousands of people that have found this music. And when they found this music, their life looked a little different in a lot of different ways. But that's what this podcast is about. It's about how did you meet this band? How did you find this band? And why in the hell are you still listening to them after this long, right? Like, what is the thing that keeps you coming back for more? And every single person has a very different answer. And I just find that like a very unique story. And honestly, I'll be here, whether it is on social media, whether it is on turning the news on, whatever you listen to, whatever you get your news from or your social stuff from. Right now, there's just so much bad and negative shit out there. There's so much. It's like you can't find someone telling you a really positive story. And so I said, hey, I've got a story that needs to be told. And that is what we are doing on this podcast, is we're going to share the good news of thousands of people feeling really good because of music. And how in the world is that happening? So stay tuned because I'm going to talk more about what we're doing with these shows. Since we have collected so many hundreds of stories now. I think I'm almost to 200 stories of what this music has done for people on a scientific level. And so hold tight. We'll get into that later. I want you to hold tight because, man, there's some cool things happening for this podcast, and I want you to be involved. So today is like every episode. Again, if this is your very first episode, over 150 episodes. Each one is a different person telling you how they met the Dave Matthews Band. There are some funny ones. There are some tragic, heartbreaking ones. And there's something all in between. Definitely check this out. Check any of them out. Some of them will be for you, some of them won't be for you. But like I said, they're all very different. So be sure to check those out. Today, we are recording with another fan of the Dave Matthews Band, but he's actually been on the show before. So again, if you're not familiar with the show, you'll have to dig back because he was on an episode that released in 2023, October of 2023, and we had the most fun because we did the episode a little different than the format now because I had just started, well, I guess in October of 2023, I was in about 10 months. And honestly, it took me until now to figure out what the hell I was doing in making a podcast. So we did a lot of things throughout the first 2 years. And so one of the things that we did was dissect different songs. I would have friends on the show to help me talk through what I thought was a complicated song or what they thought would be interesting to break down. And so definitely check out those earlier episodes. We've had so many friends on the show that helped to break down some songs that I don't know that we could even understand what it was about. It was just such a mystery, but we talked about that. And so definitely check those out. Sean and I, we dissected the Dreaming Tree. And Sean, I'm going to let you talk about that. Obviously, I
Oh
just
man.
spoiled who's on the show with me, but we have Sean. Sean,
Hey.
where in the world do you live? And yeah, let's talk about that first episode that you were on.
Well, Renee, thank you so much for having me back on. I appreciate it. I am from Des Moines, Iowa. I actually live outside of Des Moines in a town called Grimes, but to help people, I live in Des Moines.
It's easier.
So, and not too many people from Iowa love DMB as much as I do. We do have a Facebook page, DMB Iowa fans. Not really that active, but there is one out there for the few and mighty of us.
Have you lived
So.
there your whole life?
Yeah, so I grew up on the eastern side of the state in a small town called Clinton, right on the Mississippi River. So if you look on a map and you see the Mississippi River flow down, I lived right smack dab on the nose of Iowa. Then I moved to college about 45 minutes away in Davenport, south. And then I got a couple of job offers out here in central Iowa, and I've lived out here ever since.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, I know, what does your family look like? Because I know you have a family just because, again, you've been on the show before. So tell those that
Yeah.
are not familiar with you, what's your family look like?
So I have my wife, Micah. We will be celebrating 8 years of marriage in June. And then we just have a recently 4-year-old, Dale. He turned 4 on the 25th of March. So my life is
How
crazy.
is 4 going? 4 is a sweet age. You know, they're busy. They're so smart. They're learning. Do you
4
love
going
this?
on 14 right now. So
it's a great age. Gosh, you're not far from starting school. Are you, is your parent heart ready for that?
I think so. We're ready to, he's got 1 more year of daycare and then we'll start school. Yeah. So in 26, 27. Which is kind of crazy to think about.
It's such an emotional time. Maybe like, not for everyone. Some people are like, thank you, Jesus, like get this kid, like I need some time or whatever. But it was such a hard thing for me. It was such an emotional thing, but obviously it's the thing to do. Right. They need to learn.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about you being on the show last. And so is Dreaming Tree your favorite song? Is that why we
it's in my top 5.
Yeah.
It's probably it's up there. I'm chasing, as we like to say, as fans.
We're chasing. Not heard it live yet.
I have not heard it live, no.
Okay.
But if I would have to go Dreaming Tree, and then 41 is 1B. It's so pretty good. Damn close.
Yeah. It's so good. Well, I love Dreaming Tree. It obviously just like musically a beautiful song.
Oh, absolutely.
And of course, lyrically, we've dug into that song. So we're very familiar with the words. And I have to be honest, like doing that episode with you was incredible because it made me dig into that song. And I probably never would have dug into it like we did for that, because I feel like we interpreted every line of that song.
Yeah. It's not an easy song to interpret at all.
It's not. And obviously that was our thoughts or our interpretation of the art, which
Right.
use the music, the lyrics, but
Hmm.
I feel like we did a really good job. I mean, so
I thought so.
again, if you haven't listened to that episode, rewind, you just got to scroll down
Scroll.
because
Just
there's just a
scroll.
million episodes. Just like scroll. It's like when you're picking 1979 on the for the birth year, you have to go like,
Hey, that's how I am. I'm 89, so I'm right. I'm right there.
oh, we've reached that age where it's just
Yes.
like a
Uh
ching
huh.
ching. I don't know, it's crazy,
Hey,
but
and also do yourself a favor and get you a bottle of Dreaming Treat to enjoy with the episode.
yes, get a bottle of Dreaming Tree. Go back to 2023, season 4, episode 2. It's a short one. It's only 35 minutes, so that's a good commute episode. But
Hmm.
let us know if Sean and I did a good job of interpreting that deep song, and send us some messages. I'm totally open to hear your thoughts, or go like, "Hey, did you ever think this is what that line is about?" I mean, are you open to that, Sean? We
Oh,
could do it again.
absolutely. Yeah. Hit me up on socials. I'm on Facebook. I'm in the space between Facebook page. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Instagram. Let's go. Let's talk about it.
Absolutely. And so I want to include all your socials. Those will be in the show notes. And then if you're watching this
Mhm.
on YouTube, that will flash on the screen right now. So definitely look up Sean on all the socials. I know that we were talking about socials also when we were talking about that you had been on the show before. There are some really cool things out there in the social media world. And I understand that not everyone that listens to this or watches this is even on social media, and that's cool. Like, I love whatever makes you happy. But if you are on social media, here's some cool ways. Like, we're going to throw out some groups and some pages that maybe you should check out if you're not already and you really want to get more into the culture of the fans when it comes to the Dave Matthews Band, because it really is, again, this show is about the fans, and so there's just so much culture. You shared an Instagram with me earlier that I did happen to already be following. Tell us what you found on Instagram, how someone else can find it, and kind of like what you like about what they're doing.
I just started following these guys like literally like 3 days ago, but the account is on Instagram, Daily DMB Therapy, all one word. It's a picture of Dreaming Tree, it looks like, as their profile picture. And they just show like rare video, audio of the band, so some old stuff, some new stuff. But the one that really resonated with me, and I forgot how badass it was Time Bomb going into Two Step, and that just gave me goosebumps watching that like 2 minute clip of that intro of Dave and Boyd doing the two step riff and or Time Bomb and then going into Two Step.
There's so much out there that,
Yeah.
and that's what's fun about being a younger fan, because I
Mm-hmm.
would say that you and I still classify as younger fans, especially because there are so many fans that were there from 1991. You and
Yeah.
I were not of age in 1991, so time's not been on our side, but we're still baby fans. So yeah, there's a lot of Instagram stuff out there. There are Facebook pages. I know that you are on both socials as far as there's a multitude of
Yes.
social media out there. I'm learning more from Sean that I didn't even know was out there. And so for the main ones that you're on, what are some pages that you could recommend for people to start following?
Dave Matthews Tribute Band. I love those guys. Got to see
Out.
them. It's not a shameless plug either. No, I saw them back in 2023 down in Des Moines, and I went by myself. My wife watched Dale, and I had a blast with those guys, and I even asked for a set list. And they're like, "You are really a Dave fan if you're asking for a set list at a tribute show." So, because the guy, I asked the bassist, I can't remember his name. I apologize.
Tim. If it was
Tim.
Tim, the one that's
I
doing it
think
now.
I think it's Tim. I was
Yeah.
like, "Hey, can I get?" I was like, "Set list." He's like, "Oh, got you." And
That's
so,
awesome. I wonder how many people ask. Oh, we'll have to ask them. Like, how many people ask you
yeah,
for a set list? Because that is a good way to know You're a diehard
because
fan.
I will send you a picture for this, but I'll show it for our YouTube audience. Like, it looks just like a Dave set list with the fire dancer and everything.
I
So
love it. I love the Dave Matthews Tribute Band. So, of course, that's a great one to follow. If you haven't listened to this podcast before, I've partnered up with them many times and will be in the future. So, look for our schedules because I love the Dave Matthews Tribute Band. They're doing something very unique. And honestly, they're doing something that people don't understand what they're doing. They're not trying to imitate or perform the current Dave Matthews Band. They are very much paying tribute to the sound of the original band that started way back when. And so that is their goal. They don't really want to go too far past the early 2000s. That's their sweet spot, and that's the sound that they're trying to emulate for people because there are so many still very current loving Dave Matthews Band fans that just miss that sound because it takes them back to their youth, because it takes them back to like when they first fell in love with the band. And so the Dave Matthews Tribute Band can do that for you. And they travel so much, like 25 out of 30 days, like they're everywhere. So definitely check them out. They're headed to East Coast right now, then down to Florida in the summer, because why not be there if you're going to be somewhere? Definitely check them out. I would say if you're not really in a lot of groups in social media, as far as Facebook goes, you can dig a little deeper and really even get more specific. Like you said, your state has a group page. Arkansas has a group page on Facebook. But you can get really specific as far as even like if you want to know other people that have Dave Matthews Band drivers, like the license plates on their cars. There's a
or a fire dancer on their car.
Fire dancers on the car. It's called like I Spy a Fire Dancer.
Yes. Or tattoos. I have a Dave tattoo. I'm in Dave tattoo group.
Whatever you want, it's available. And that really is not only just to see cool other things people are doing, but also just for me, it's to make me not feel like such a weirdo all the time because I'm like totally moving out every day about something crazy to do with the Dave Matthews Band and getting on these groups, finding out that other people are also nerding out about that same information gives me a little bit of like, okay, you're not as weird as you're telling yourself you are.
Right. There is more of us.
Yeah, there is more of us. Thank you.
There is more of us weirdos.
Thank God. Okay, guys. So hold on. We are going to do a lot of different things in this episode. We are going to go back and forth and back and forth. And here's the reason why I'm doing that. It's to keep you here to the whole episode. Because if I give you everything you want right in the beginning, you'll shut this off. And you know what? Sean and I are not that nice. This episode, you're going to listen to the whole damn thing, aren't they? So if you're listening to this right before we get started, I want to dig into Sean's story. But if you are listening to this on a podcast app, I want you to look at your phone right now. There's a way that you can rate this podcast. And I know that may seem really silly to rate a podcast, but it's actually the only way that a podcast can really get pushed out into other people so that they can find it in the billions of podcasts that are out there. Share it with a friend. You don't have to write like this long, sappy message at all. You don't have to write any words. You can just rate it with from 1 to 5 stars. I do like to say, if you just want to give me a 1 star, I'd love a consult call with you first to see what I can do better before you just give me a 1. I'm open to criticism, but like maybe not in my Google reviews. Because you
privately
can't do that shit. But anyways, this podcast is about the fans. So of course I'm wanting it to do it justice. So I'm very, very open to if you think something should be covered in a different way, totally open to that. This show is not about me. It is about everyone that's listening to this. So thank you for listening. And thank you for doing that review. If you're watching this on YouTube, guess what? The best thing you can do on YouTube, it's a little bit different. That's right. Just like Sean, if you're watching this, you got to give us thumbs up every video, subscribe to the channel, and that way you're going to get a little ding. You're going to have a little bell that rings every time I put a new episode out or every time I put a new reel out, because I'm always doing something just really crazy. And I like to make TikToks and spread those reels and just make people laugh.
Yes, I've cracked myself up at work watching Renae's TikToks. So I can confirm this.
I have no shame.
No, none.
Oh
You
my God.
shouldn't.
Okay. So Sean, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for coming back on the show because we didn't get to talk about you and your personal journey when you were first on the show. And so I'm going to ask you the question that I like to ask everybody. And that is, where in the world did you hear about the Dave Matthews Band?
Well, we have to go back in time. And my father, he's a big Dave fan as well.
Awesome.
And he just found, I asked him about it the other day, and he said that he liked the riff of Ants, because who doesn't? And this was, this was 94, 95.
Uh-huh.
So he just got hooked on Ants. And then a certain album that is near and dear to my heart, and I kind of alluded to it earlier, but Live at Luther College, set in Decorah, Iowa. So
that was a trivia question. No one gets it. No one gets that.
Well, I'm a native Iowan. I have a sense of pride of this.
No one knows that Luther College is in Iowa.
Yep.
It is.
So it's my all-time favorite album. That's one of the reasons. But my dad would always play it at dinner time. It was our dinner time music.
Yeah.
And it was just the acoustic of Tim and Dave that got me hooked. So, and then now, fast forward 20, 25 years later, I actually own Live at Luther on vinyl when I finally found it at a local record store. So, and now I play it once in a while. Like, we like to have a thing called Vinyl Sunday, and we play vinyl music. And so I own almost all of those studio albums on vinyl. Wow. I hate to say. So, but Live at Luther was a must-have. So, and it's like six disc, I think. So.
Wow. So, you said you listened to that. Your father used to play it at meal times. Have you played it for your kids during dinner?
I did once. He didn't like too fondly of it. Not yet. He's 4, so we're listening to a lot of. We're into big Spider-Man right now, so we're doing a lot of Spidey and Avengers and Monster Jam and that kind of stuff. So my wife's a big fan of John Mayer, so that kind of helps. Yeah. She understands the fandom of both. So, like, I understand her John Mayer fandom. She understands my Dave fandom. So,
yeah. And
so my kid will be very musically inclined.
I know that she knows this, and I don't even want to ask, but I have to because I want to know. And if you're her husband, so she's going to know this. Surely she knows, like, the impact that Dave Matthews himself has had on John Mayer. Is that something?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Everyone knows. We've talked about it a lot, like when we first started dating, and I'm like, oh, she likes John. Okay, this can work. Like, this can work
for sure.
But we were like really excited because we saw Dave and Tim were gonna play at that Fire Aid concert, that tribute, and we're like, oh, we can actually see our two favorites perform together and do a set. Yeah. And then Dave's mom passed away, unfortunately, and Dave had to cancel. And then I made the mistake of going down a rabbit hole and found the set list that they were supposed to play.
No way. Like, I did not know that was.
Yeah, somebody leaked it. It was supposed to be Gravity, so John Mayer's Gravity, Ants, and then Tom Petty's Free Fallin', because Mayer does a really good cover of Free Fallin'.
Awesome. Well,
so what could have been, right?
What could have been, right? Maybe
there could still be time for a tour. Dave, if you listen, please, I will spend a lot of money to go to that tour. Please make it happen.
Dave Matthews is listening to this podcast. Hey, hey, friend. Hope you're
Stefan.
Tell the kids. Yeah. Right. I'll be over next Sunday for the meatloaf. See you then. Okay, so Dad loved the Dave Matthews Band. You were just exposed to it because that was his music. What was it about it that you were like, okay, I'm going to get into this on my own?
So it was like the late 90s, early 2000s. You know, you don't really talk about being a Dave fan in middle school and high school. You rarely have, because that's a cool thing, you know. You're not
Right.
listening to Kanye West or Nelly or Eminem. You know,
Right.
you're listening to alternative music. You're not. So it didn't really take me till like college and out of college. So 2012, 2013 is when I really dove in to Dave and found just like-minded people. And it's when Facebook was still big. Facebook's still big, but
Right.
and Twitter, and then interacting when Boyd was with the band, interacting with Boyd, interacting with Stefan on Twitter, and knowing like, okay, these guys are like really cool people.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and yes, I know about Boyd, so
Yes.
we can leave that as is. But it's just like, these are just good humans, and they make good, great music.
Right.
I want to be associated with this.
Right.
And it's actually better for every time I know when I get depressed and in down mood, I need to put some Dave on. I will listen, like if I'm like that and I'm at work, I will go the whole 8-hour workday listening to Dave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't bother me at all to get a full 8 hours in every day.
No,
It doesn't bother me at all.
I need my daily dose.
And oftentimes you can listen to, whatever it is, your playlist. If you're listening to XM for 8 hours, you may hear a repeat just
You
because
might.
I've heard some talks about their algorithms and the reason why they play certain songs and blah, 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 and the timing of how they do all that. And I found that very, very interesting on how they decide what songs to rotate heavier than others on the XM.
Right.
But you will hear repeats in an 8-hour span because they're looking at,
Not
higher.
everybody does it 8 hours.
It's so completely different. But
Right.
for the most part, I think I could definitely create a playlist where you definitely wouldn't hear the same song played twice in one playlist. Like they're all so different. So you may hear the space between 5 times in 8 hours in a playlist, but you won't hear it the same way. It'll be 5 different ways.
It'll be 5. Yeah, exactly. It'll be 5 different renditions.
That's
or you'll
cool.
listen to a 20-minute 41 and a 10-minute 41.
Right. And what are the differences? We should be taking notes. Like, what's the difference between a 10 and a 20? Give me the answer.
Yeah. Dave wants to get through the set. Dave's got curfew. There's your answer.
Let's
Dave's
compare and contrast 2017 to 2018. I mean, yes, give me this homework, right?
Dave, what was your mind when you did a 34-minute 41 with Bella Fleck up in Ontario? What was your motivation behind this?
Wow. Who knows? Maybe it's just, I would imagine like, and I'm not a musician, but I can feel music, right? And
oh yeah,
whatever skill that is. I don't know what that is, but like, when you're in a jam and like the jam is really good, like you kind of can lose sense of time, right?
Yeah.
Like when the groove is really there and you're digging it and like you're feeding off each other and you're doing stuff that maybe you never did before and you're like, oh, that was fucking awesome. And that was fucking awesome. And like, let's just keep going. And so they lose time. And I think that's how things like that happen. And what a cool thing to witness, the fact that they lost their mind and their sense of time in the middle of that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Like the best part is like when you see during the jam, when you go to a Dave show and you see Dave make eye contact with Carter, who makes eye contact with Stefan, and they know they have something and they just keep going. It is the best feeling in the world because your mind's going to be blown.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so incredible. So do you have a lot of it sounds like you don't, but do you have a lot of people in your life and like your immediate life outside of your wife that are on board the Dave Matthews Band train and they're like, let's go get tickets or what's this? I mean, like, do you have someone close to you that's
I have a few friends. I got some friends here in Des Moines. The Gardeners, TJ and Jess. Miss you guys, but they're here in Des Moines. Not as close anymore, but my friends Abby and Deb, they I don't know if you remember this when concert calls were a thing.
Concert what?
Concert calls.
Concert calls. What's a concert call?
I became so good friends with people. We exchanged phone numbers, and they'd be like, "Hey, I'm going to a Dave show," and they just surprised me and call me during the middle of the show during a song and just put it on speakerphone and like let me hear the show before like FaceTime was a big thing and
Right,
all this.
right.
So
That's awesome. No, yes, I've done it, and it's been done to me. So that's the great
yeah,
thing.
and you don't know what you're gonna get, and then unless you get the alert from the DMB Hub app, and
Right.
it's like, oh, and then like 2 seconds later, oh, my phone's ringing. Oh, okay, I know what's going on here.
That app is so incredible, and it is like when you're supposed to be paying attention to, work if they're in Europe or whatever, or
Yeah,
like you just can't be there because you got a kids sporting event or whatever. I mean, I feel bad, but my hub is going off every damn time
yeah,
they change songs, and I'm like, oh shit, they're playing this, they're playing. I'm like, I'm just,
yeah.
I'm in it.
I'm the same way.
It's just there. It's like it is my team.
Mm-hmm.
And like, my husband, a lot of other people, they keep ESPN up on their phone, like
Mm-hmm.
get sport alerts,
Yeah,
team alerts or whatever. And so no different. I just supporting a band.
yeah. I'm just like,
Their
oh
team.
shit, they just played Big Eyed Fish or whatever. It's
That's,
like,
a, that's
oh,
exciting. Even if you're not
or
there,
what cover did they cover? What cover are they doing this year?
right. It's exciting. And 2025 is going to be weird for me. I don't want to sound like a brat, but I've made it a point the last couple of years to always go to the first show, just because
Yeah,
there's just that feeling of like
right.
everyone's been waiting for them all to
Mm-hmm.
start the summer tour, and it's that feeling within the bands. It's just awesome, that first moment when they walk out onto the stage and what song are they going to start the whole season to, and just I love all of that, but I'm not going to go to it this year. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to be fine because of our fine people at the couch tour. Going to be just fine. I'm going to have a
Yeah,
front
we're
row
good.
view sitting here in Arkansas, not having to pay for ticket or travel. So it's going to be fine.
Yeah, we're gonna be good.
It'll be different. And, I'm excited for all of those that get to go. But God's starting out in New York this year, right? It's a
I
little
know.
different. It's a
Yeah,
little different.
it's
I'm
not
not
a
sad about it. It's just,
No,
it's so damn far. I like a Texas
yeah.
start. There's
Yeah,
something.
living in the Midwest, I feel you on that one.
Yeah.
I was like kind of like hoping, like when I saw it, I'm like, man, Dave hasn't come back to Des Moines since 2019. I want him to come back to Des Moines
Yeah.
because
And I
that's
would totally
my home
drive.
venue.
Yeah. Iowa's not too far from me. I have a friend in Iowa, Julie. Hi, Julie, if you listen to this. And she drives down here all the time like it's nothing. So I don't think it would be a bad deal.
I-80.
Is it just go straight up?
Yeah, it
Right.
goes up and
Because, wait, okay, this is going to sound dumb, but Iowa is above what? What state is below you?
below us, Missouri.
Oh, okay. So you are literally straight up.
Yeah,
Because
literally
so
straight
it's
up. Yeah,
Iowa, Missouri, Arkansas. Boom. So just straight up. Yep.
yeah, yep.
Damn. Okay. So yeah, that's not bad at all. It's
No,
just rough getting through Missouri, but I can do it.
yeah,
I can do it.
and yeah, I've done it. I've done it. I've drove to Texas, so
Oh God. Oh God.
yeah.
It's just so far. It's so
It's a,
boring.
what is it, 10, 12 hour drive, I think?
God bless. Was it to Dallas or
To Dallas, no, to Dallas and then to Austin. From Dallas to Austin.
Austin is
Yeah,
so far south.
it was another 3 hours.
It's
I'm like,
so
we're
far.
still in the.
Beautiful city. Great
Don't get me wrong.
times.
My wife's best friend lives there. We visit them. It's fine, but it's just
Love
like,
it.
Jesus.
Love it. Love Texas. I love a
Mm.
Texas start. I would have loved Arkansas to have been on the map, but that's okay. I understand that we are a very small market in a very countrified
Yeah.
area. So I understand that this is
Same.
not where your Dave listeners are, but I'm here and I would
Yep.
love it.
I want a home show. Damn it.
I do. At least one more. Okay.
Next
So
year.
let's go back to it.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about your first show, because I do want to always touch back on the fact that every fan of the band says that there's a difference in their just feeling about the band, the way they
Mm-hmm.
think about the band from
Mm-hmm.
just listening to their music, whether that's on, YouTube, watching it, or listening to live records, listening to studio albums. to the point where you go to see them live for the first time with your own eyes and getting to hear them play live. What did you get what you expected? And talk us through, like, did you get the fever after you saw them?
So my first show was, it's kind of gonna shock people, but June 30th, 2015. So
Same year as
that
me.
10 years ago.
Yep.
It was a home show in Des Moines in an arena. It was the 2 sets tour. So it was acoustic for the first half and then electric for the bottom half. To be honest, I loved my first show. There were songs I got that I was like looking back is like, holy crap, I got that in my first show. But remember a little thing called Periscope?
Yes.
And remember everybody had to Periscope shows, and everybody was like live watch whatever. It was the pre couch tour.
Yes.
It kind of was. And I made the mistake of doing that for my first show for the whole thing.
Hmm.
So I'm kind of regretting it because there wasn't a taper. And so the taper got sick, apparently. That's what I read on the forums the night before. So, I know it was great, but I don't remember it as well as I should have.
Right. You weren't as focused as you would have liked to have been.
No, because I know my video was crappy, and I was back, and I wasn't in the pit. I was at lower bowl, but I was in the back of behind the soundboard and to the right. But it wasn't as great as it was. Awesome. Don't get me wrong.
Of course.
But it could have been better.
So I know you went to another one just because, again,
I did.
So what did you do different from show 1 to show 2 to make sure that you enjoyed it a little more?
Show 1, I went solo. So show 2, I went solo. So show 1, I took my parents.
That's awesome.
I went with because my dad never seen Dave, and my mom came along too.
Awesome.
So I bought tickets for the 3 of us to have that core memory, of watching Dave with my dad.
Did he love it?
Oh, he loved it.
Oh, good.
He loved it.
Did your mom love it?
She loved it. Because my mom and dad grew up on like Chicago, Billy Joel, that type of music. So it kind of reminded them of that a little bit, but just like more modern.
Horns. Yeah.
The horns. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but my second show, I just started dating my wife at the time.
Uh-huh.
And I said, hey, I'm going to the show in Moline, Illinois, on the river, in the Quad Cities. And I'm going to go by myself. I met up with some friends who had tickets and everything. I did not have warehouse pit at the time. My friend Lauren in Chicago was coming down and going to the show. We swapped tickets because I just had normal pit. She gave me warehouse pit.
Oh yeah.
So I was able to get on the rail for my second show.
So for those of you that are listening that have no idea what he's talking about, warehouse is like the Dave Matthews Band fan club. You get first entry. So if you have a warehouse ticket from the member club, essentially, you get first entry before anyone that has bought from, Ticketmaster or whatever. So it is a better ticket because you get in first, whether you're lawn, whether you're pit, whether you're seats, you get in first. And I love that about our band, that they do that. A lot of people, do not like the warehouse, and that's cool, but it's a lottery system.
It is.
And that's what we have to remember. Lotteries are crazy.
Yes. It's like playing the real lottery, but with tickets.
But it only costs $30.
Yeah, for the year. And you get priority to buy your tickets for the season. So
I think it's, it's worth a shot. Worth a shot.
Yeah.
And I'm not even making any kind of royalties off advertising for them. Come on, warehouse. Let me
not a sponsor, but they could be.
Let me sell some memberships for you guys. I'll be out like selling stuff on people's front doorsteps. Like, have you heard the good news of the Dave Matthews Band? You can be a member for $30. Come on, let's go. I got 10 people right now that I'll call.
Yeah. Oh, I could go through my phone and do probably the same. But probably the people I would call are probably already warehouse members. So
No, but a lot of people surprise me
No.
by saying they're not. And that's
Yeah.
usually because they've had bad experiences, which we've all
Mm-mm.
gotten nothing, like we
Right.
requested everything and we had always gotten stuff in the past and we'd been members since, 1942, or whatever,
Right.
which is not even a real number. But
Yeah.
so yeah, it opened in 98, if we're going to be
Mm-hmm.
technical, December of 1998, I believe. So
That
99 was
sounds
the
right.
very
Yeah.
first year. So that's really as early as it goes. But those people, they do get special things. The ones that were in the first, they get, I know they had a 30-year club pin or something that
Oh,
they
really?
got.
That'd be
There
cool.
is still some really cool things for those people that have held on to their memberships for a really long time. So there's some perks outside of just the tickets too. You just have to keep being a loyal fan and pay their fan club membership. Okay, so you took your dad to a show, you took your mom to a show. I love that you included that because, again, your dad is really the
Mm-hmm.
reason that you
Yeah.
found the band. And so it was nice to have that story together. So second show, you go alone.
I do.
Met up with some friends, all that. So you were
Mm-hmm.
able to concentrate on the music because you
Yes.
weren't streaming. So what was it like?
In the words of our fellow Dave, "You all smell good this evening," happened. If you know, you know. I got that pretty early on, which it made for a great night. And it wore off by the encore, but no, it was great. The opener, "When the World Ends," is such a fun open song to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I don't know, it just sets the tone for the whole show.
That's the tone, exactly.
And so, and also it's when he did his outro of "Sexy Motherfucker" by Prince.
Yes.
After Jimmy thing. And so I was like kind of hoping for that because I kept seeing it like all tour, like, okay, come on, I want it for my show. And when I kind of like freaked out. And then another highlight from that show was the Oliver Loving "Say Goodbye," when Dave tickles the keyboard and you hear your first "Say Goodbye." That's like a powerful experience.
Oh wow, yeah, no, it's yes.
Yeah. And actually, and then looking back, it's like, holy crap, that song's so good.
So good. So good. And it's fun to look back. So was that, where did you say the second show was? In the same place?
That was in Moline, Illinois in 2016. So I went back-to-back years, and it was just like, oh my God, a lot of my friends were like, you went to back-to-back years of the tour. I'm like, well, it worked. It finally worked in my schedule. And I had financial needs that could make this happen.
Right. I mean, Midwest people, we just don't get enough Dave. We just don't. No. And I'm so envious, especially in the summer, of the East Coast. And the West Coast is definitely not. They don't see as much Dave as they would like to, and you would think California, Washington, Oregon, a lot of those states over there, Arizona. Buddy's from Arizona, and they haven't played in Arizona since one of the festivals, like the
Big
Super Bowl.
Innings Festival, I believe.
Yeah. But there's just a lot of states they don't visit, and I'm sure that there are very smart people that are paid very well by the Dave Matthews Band to plan out their tour according to what they think money they're going to make, and that's a whole this is a business thing, but. Man, we sure would like a small show in the Midwest.
That's not
to get to.
That's not Northerly Island, not Deer Creek, not Alpine. I know I'm probably rubbing people a lot the wrong way with not saying those three.
No, because those are all great, but they've been done, right? They've been done.
Exactly. That's the point I'm getting at. Is I was looking at the tour schedule this year, and I'm like, St. Louis is only 3.5 hours from me. Can I make that work? But I can't. So
it's Father's Day weekend. That's a tough weekend.
Yeah, that's tough. So, and other situations, but we talked about it, because I've never, that's on my bucket list, to see Dave outside. So it's because there's a whole different atmosphere, right? because
Right.
you've been to the gorge, right? That's
One time.
obviously
Yes.
on the bucket list, if somehow make that happen. But it if it's meant to be, it's meant to be.
That's
That's
right.
right. So
Absolutely.
one day,
Absolutely. Hopefully we
one day.
have many more years ahead too, right?
Yes.
We're not tapping out quite yet. So
No.
we've got some years. We've got some years.
We got some
Okay,
years.
so and we know you went to a third show. So
I did.
tell us about show 3 for us.
Show 3, back in Des Moines, back in my home venue. Took my wife this time. Signed up for Warehouse just to get tickets, just to be safe. Sat stage right, so Buddy side. It was my
Awesome.
first show with Buddy, seeing Buddy. The highlight for me was a Bayou opener,
Oh yeah. I like Bayou.
uh,
Hear what people say.
and then a fish tender,
Yeah.
which I didn't think I'd ever get a fish tender because I'm in the Midwest and I feel like that's more like an East Coast thing.
Yeah.
But and then the other highlight from that show, as I'm looking at the set list, is who doesn't love the Stone? Like,
I love it.
and then the outro of Can't Help Falling in Love,
Mhm. So
from
good.
Elvis.
No matter how long it is, right? Whether it's 6 minutes or 26 minutes, it's amazing every time.
Yeah, once you hear that opening riff, and I just like my jaw dropped, and Micah looked at me like, "You know what song this is, don't you?" I'm like, "Yes, it's the Stone." She's like, "Is that a rare one?" I'm like, "Yes, it's a
Oh,
rare one."
it's so good. It's
And
so
then
good.
Watchtower, you close with Watchtower. You can't beat a Watchtower.
I mean that's so good,
No.
and I mean it's such a great ender. Like there's no great ender because you don't ever want it to be over, but like it's so powerful, and he gets all worked up, and he's doing all the stuff
Yeah.
at the end, and then boom, the lights are out, and it's over. So it's kind of like they take you all the way up to the top, and then boom, they just drop
Yeah.
you, and like back to reality, bitch.
Yeah. It was like, oh, thanks for a great like 3 hours. Hey, get back to reality.
Exactly, back to everything that you were
And then you
trying.
can't fall asleep after the show. You're up till midnight or
Yeah.
whatever.
I've
It's
got three
during the
hours of
week.
things to talk about after a show.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
hopefully
And
I'm doing it with
yeah,
breakfast with other people. That's my go-to. After a show, I want breakfast. That is my straight like rule every show. Let's go get
that's a
waffles.
great rule.
Whatever.
Are you what's the go-to order? I need to know.
Um,
What's the order?
I never know. I'm so inconsistent. I
Okay.
love biscuits and gravy. I'm from the South, but obviously, depending on where we're at, is whether I'm going to get biscuits and gravy because it is not the same all over the United States.
I haven't tried that, but that sounds amazing. I'm a biscuits and
So
gravy
good.
snob.
So
Yeah.
yeah, breakfast is our thing. We always find just like a group that is there at the show, and we're like, okay, try to pick a restaurant that's away from the venue because you got to get out of there. Because if
Right.
you're trying to get fast food
Yeah.
after a show and they were close, good luck to you. So we'll try to go
Yeah.
10 miles away or whatever. We've done Waffle House, we've done Denny's, you name it, whatever we can find. And
Give me
so
breakfast food. That sounds like a great idea. Now I'm
it's fun.
craving biscuits and gravy.
It's so fun. Yeah. Yeah. Next time you go, try some breakfast after. It just kind of like just goes so well on top of Dave. You just like feel good and then you feel good. And so it's
And then
just a
I
lot
can
of
crash.
and then you go to sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what has kept you coming back like to the music? Because you've been a fan. I mean, you say you've been a fan for a long time. If you
Yeah.
want to call we want to call ourselves baby, but in the big picture of things and how we are committed to other bands,
Mm-hmm.
real we're not like this with other bands. You've been
No.
a fan of this band for over 10 years and your love for them has increased with time. And so what is it? What is it that keeps you chasing them?
Man. Well, I do have a Dave tat. I kind of alluded to that earlier because I love this band so much. That's probably one of the reasons I keep coming back is they're just inclusivity for everything and how I feel like they reinvent themselves every year.
Mhm.
From watching on couch tours or watching old clips on YouTube and or listening to stuff on Spotify or XM, just like seeing the different versions of like how they like. I feel like they went up each year.
Yeah,
It's
they
like,
do.
and like the horns and Buddy have made this an amazing band. Don't get me wrong. I love Roy. I love Boyd. I
Of
love
course.
the early stuff, but now this
Yes.
stuff is kicking ass.
So
It's
good.
so good. Like
It's
I
so
don't know how else to describe it.
there's
It
no words.
There is no words, and I get goosebumps when I hear a song that I haven't heard in a hot minute, and I'm like, God, that was powerful. Like
Yes. Isn't
it's
that
like an
amazing
out of.
that
Mhm.
music has the power to make your body feel a certain way? I mean, so
Yeah.
many times people will bring up goosebumps at a show or a song that gives them goosebumps, whether it's, other music, Dave Matthews Band music, but music is one of those things people talk about regularly, gives
Right.
them that feeling where your skin actually changes and your hair stands up and you have like this burr feeling over you.
Hmm.
And there's so much science of why that is happening. That is a very normal reaction to music, but it is also proof that there is such a physiological connection to us listening to that music and what our brain is doing when we're excited or when we're having a memory of whatever the memory is. It's unbelievable the things that music is able to help us get through. And I know that if you've listened to this podcast, you've heard my story of like that music has really played as a tool in saving me. And I say that loosely. Obviously, that it's been a tool. It didn't save me, but it was such a help. It was something that I could use to reset my thoughts. It was something I could use to calm me down or to bring me
Hmm.
up or whatever that feeling was that I couldn't achieve by myself. Music can generally, the right music, the right song
Yeah.
can generally get me where I need to be. And why is that? Why are so many people saying that?
Right.
I feel a certain way and I get this song on and it changes the way I feel. Is there any
Mhm.
experience for you? I mean, you just said it, you get goosebumps. Like, is
Yeah.
this happening to you on the regular that it's changing the way that you feel?
Pretty much. To be full open book. I was diagnosed with depression at age 11. I was diagnosed with autism at age 18. And so my tattoo is the fire dancer, but in puzzle pieces, and
Mm-hmm.
they're all colored different colors. So, and my wife got that for me as a birthday present one year. And
Stand for
I'll,
autism awareness and
yeah,
bringing
it
that.
is autism awareness, yes. So, but just I know when I would get into that dark place of depression, because I've been there. It's I'm not ashamed to say it. I've been there, and it's not fun.
Mhm.
But through therapy and through music and through coping mechanisms, I've learned to control it to an extent. As you know, depression doesn't go away.
It does
It
not.
just takes a back burner. It
That's right.
it but listening to these guys helps me recenter myself, refocus, and be like, okay, you are meant to be here. You need to see the like, and that was like kind of my whole thing is like, I want to see these guys. This was like 2012, 2013, 2014, before I could finally see them, afford to see them and
Yeah.
everything. And just being like, I still remember that day in 2015. It's almost like not seasonal depression, but it's like, okay, opening day for tour dates are here. Let's see where he's going, and hopefully it's somewhere I can maybe make work. And then I see June 30th, Des Moines, Iowa, 2015, and I'm just like, shut the front door, I'm buying tickets as soon as they go on sale.
Oh,
Like I
man.
literally drove from my I was living in a suburb outside Des Moines, about 45 minutes away. I literally drove from 45 minutes to go physically pick up my tickets instead of having them mailed because I actually wanted to physically hold them in my hand, and then I broke down
Mm-hmm.
because
Oh,
the realization set in. I am seeing my favorite band
mm-hmm.
finally for the first time.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that. It's like seasonal depression. I mean, that's a really accurate way. People want to call it like Dave depression, but seasonal
Yeah,
depression because we're talking about the seasons that the band plays. But I
exactly.
love that seasonal depression. I haven't heard it put that way, and that's a real thing. Like that's a real, like a real
Yeah,
diagnosis.
it
But
is.
um, uh, actually sad. I love to throw this one out. All the random things I learned in nursing school. SAD stands for seasonal affect disorder, which we see a
Mm-hmm.
lot in time change when it's dark
Yeah.
longer,
Mm-hmm.
because people are inside more, and so usually less people are around them. They feel. Yeah, I mean, it's cold outside. Wants to go out and freeze to death. Yeah, yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's seasonal day depression, and that
Yes.
is a real thing too. And I mean that in the most sincere form. We're not
Mm-hmm.
joking when we mean it. Actually, when it's a tool for you,
Right.
when it truly is a tool for you, and it's a medicine to you, and not everyone does this apply to. And I understand that there are
Right.
different types of fans, but there are a lot of fans where this is truly a medicine for them, a tool for them to get
Mm-hmm.
through whatever life is holding for them. And so it is depressing when you can't get to that medicine, right? Because it's so different live. But again, not that it is the same, but it is so much better than having nothing. We are so thankful for the couch tour and all of the
Mm-hmm.
people that sacrifice their arm muscles and their time because, with periscoping, you
Mm-hmm.
do lose some of the show experience by
Yep.
recording.
You
You
do.
just because you're looking at the direction you're filming and like you're trying not to talk or cough or sing, because that's all things we do. And so, thank you for all of those people that sacrifice their time, their data,
Yeah.
um, so that we can have that. Because I've heard so many stories of people that are truly not able to in so many ways. Not there's financial reasons, there is
Mm-hmm.
childcare reasons, there are work reasons, there are I have no PTO reasons, but there's also people that are not able to go because of some kind of physical disability, whether
Right.
they are currently sick or have been sick, are in a wheelchair. And not every venue is really ADA compliant. I've heard some of the venues are sketchy when it comes to wheelchair safety and things like that. And so
Right.
those people are also getting their medicine that before Couch Tour was very hard for them to get. And they found themselves depressed that they had lost that part of their life that
Mm-hmm.
they once knew in a very different way. So I like to remind people that Couch Tour is for all of us that couldn't get there for whatever reason. But the sweetest part is that it really is. It's truly helping people. So I hope that
Yeah.
people realize that it's a bigger deal than just streaming live. It really is helping people emotionally. And so thank you for that. So Sean, 2025 schedule came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's different, right? It's different. We all knew, we didn't
It's
know. I don't think
different.
we knew. We didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
We never know what's going to happen. So, but we started seeing releases of festivals and we were like, oh shit, this is going to be a festival year. Like that's what it's going to
Yeah.
be.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the actual tour announcement came out. And of course, they are doing a summer tour. Thank God. We're all so happy.
Yep.
It's starting in New York, which is a little different. From the last several years, whether it's been like a Florida start, Texas start, something like that, tend to go to the hotter states first just to kind of get them out of the way because you don't want to visit them in June, July, or August.
No.
Um, but not a lot of West Coast shows, not a lot of Midwest shows, not a lot of Southern
No.
shows. No Florida shows. That one hurts a lot of people. People
Yeah,
are almost
know that.
always for sure that there will be at least one Florida show, and Florida gets 0 shows. Texas,
Hmm.
0 shows. Um, Missouri gets a show though. So,
Yeah.
that makes me happy that somebody in the Midwest got something right. Like there's
Yeah.
Ohio. Is Ohio considered the Midwest? I
I
don't know.
always thought Ohio was considered Midwest.
Okay, well they get the shit out of. I mean, like they get them all the time. I'm
I
jealous
know,
of Ohio.
Blossom. I know. I
Them so
know.
much. It's a
I
big
know.
state. They've got Cincinnati. They've got Cleveland. They've got the middle. What is it?
Columbus.
It's Columbus, where Rich Richter lives. They just get Dave every year, and so
Yeah.
I love that state. I wish we got that much attention, but Ohio just has like way more people. And some gorgeous venues in Ohio. Gorgeous
Yeah.
venues. But thankfully, the Missouri got one show. And then again, a lot more festivals. And we'll see what the fall looks like. You hear all of these rumors. Sean, what are you hearing on the DMB hotlines and chat rooms and all the things? What are you
I
thinking for fall?
I hope it's a stadium tour. I know people don't like that, but I hope it's like the arena, like the 15,000 seat arena, like our
Oh,
venue here in Des Moines is. So I know my home venue is host to a minor league hockey team, and it has a whole bunch of concerts and stuff. So, but I'm hoping they can come and do a fall tour.
yeah, I
That'd
would
be
love
nice.
it. A lot of people will. A lot of people think that they're going to go into another Europe tour very soon, whether
Which
it be,
possible.
they're thinking early spring 2026 would just be about a year out from when they did last.
Well, aren't they
Um,
doing Brazil pretty soon?
yeah, they're doing Brazil 1st of June, first weekend in June. And I know that
Okay.
because I scheduled my personal family vacation around the fact that I knew that they were going to be far away and they couldn't throw something
See, this
on
is the
me.
stuff we do, though. This is the stuff we do.
I have to plan things around the Dave Matthews Band. I've always said Dave is my my travel agent. He tells me where I'm going or
Mm-hmm.
where I'm not going.
Yeah, exactly. Can I afford this one? Nope. Okay, then we're going there.
No, most of them
But
are no, but like I want to go to all of them. Who doesn't?
no, who
But
doesn't? But
that's not even reasonable to ask of either like you or I. We have children and spouses that like want us to be home. And so if we were
yeah,
like all of a sudden, well, we're taking off and going to, all of their shows, I'm pretty sure we'd lose more than we gained. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
be doing that.
Yeah,
But it sounds like a dream.
yeah.
Well,
One
we
day,
can, right?
yeah. If we win the lottery, there will be signs.
There will be lots of shows. I don't know how many, but just whenever I feel like I can
At least
in
a
the
minimum
chopper.
of probably for me, minimum of five. Minimum of five shows if I won the lottery.
It would go crazy. It depends on how much money we're talking about in this lottery,
Yeah.
right? Like we're talking billions or millions, because that's going to change some things.
Well, if it's
You
like,
might have a private Dave show.
I would totally do that, and I'm writing the set list.
I think for the million and whatever you have to pay, that should be like a dead giveaway. Like, and also you get to write your own damn set list.
Yes.
Hope so.
Or
But
I'm
maybe,
requesting at least half the set list I get to write.
would you? Okay, so I don't think I would want to write. I mean, I would do like you just said. Be like, here's 2 songs that like would mean so much to me if you could play those. But other than that, I want you to play what you want me to hear. Like wash whatever all over my ears because I want to hear. Dude, you could sing the phone book in my backyard, and I would think that was the best thing that had ever happened to me. Like I'm that fan that just you can do no wrongs. You can't do any wrong. So
I'd probably do deep cuts. I'd do like maybe like
specifically what would you ask for?
34 because I walked down the aisle to that.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes, you definitely need that.
Dreaming Tree, obviously.
Yes.
Shotgun.
Hell yeah.
Those would be probably the 3
to
good. Start.
So good. I do not know now because I've been lucky to get to hear things that I never thought I would hear. Shotgun was always one of those songs I never thought I would hear. And then it kind of started singing it again sporadically. And so I got it. I have gotten it, but I don't think it's played enough, and I don't know how many times, but I'm sure you're going to know not that often. Break for it, not break
Oh,
free. Break for it.
Break for
Not
it.
played enough.
God, I forgot about that one.
Not played
That's a good
enough.
one.
Yeah.
Good one.
Austin 2022, opening
Wow.
show for 2022. Um, he comes out the gate, with whatever. I don't even know what was
Mhm.
first because I can't remember anything except for the fact that set list contained Shotgun, Break Free, and Break For It. I was
Oh,
like, dude, I
damn.
could leave right now, but I
Yeah,
didn't.
that's a show in itself right there.
What? And I mean, no one was expecting that. So it was
No.
just what just happened? What just happened? It was so, so good. Those moments where you get those rare, deep things. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, you can spot I don't want to say level of fanship, but like maybe the commitment of your fanship if you
Mm-hmm.
scan the crowd when those rare songs come. Because you can see half the people are standing there going, what the fuck is this? But then there's
Exactly.
those people that are like losing their shit
Yeah.
because they've never heard this live or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. I love that
Talking
moment.
about like rare stuff, like I always like I've gotten Warehouse, but I always want to be a part of the woos
Yes.
in Warehouse because every time I do it, everybody like around me like looks at me like, "What are you doing?"
I
I'm
know.
like, "You don't know."
I know. And Dave doesn't, sometimes he'll just give it to you, like he'll just give it to you. And then other
Yeah.
times he just doesn't do that. And so it's you can't count on that. But I'll tell you what, if you request that from the Dave Matthews tribute band, they will give
They
you
will.
all you want. So and that's something that's cool about the tribute band now. They do not
Mm-hmm.
want you writing their set list for them. They have
No.
like their favorites and ones they want to do. But like if you'll send them a message, hell, send me a message. I'll see if I can get them to play your song. I've been really successful at getting them to play songs. So send me your request, guys, if you're listening and you're going to go see the Dave Matthews Tribute Band. There's a code word. If you tell them the Space Between podcast sent you, dude, you can request a song and they may play it for you. It's probably going to happen. I've got 100% proving rate now, so it's happening. So
I
keep that
can
in mind.
co-sign on this. Go see the tribute band if they're
See,
coming close to your city.
you know what
Go
they did
see
for
them.
me?
What
Because
was
I
that?
was like, I'm never going to hear it from the real band. They
Oh
played
yeah.
Crazy Easy for me.
Oh wow.
It was
Well,
so,
I got JTR in my show, so
oh, yes. No, that's awesome. So good.
so
So good. Really,
but
really
no.
love them. But
Um,
definitely be sure to
yeah.
check them out. So 4 years old, obviously, like we talked about earlier, not feeling
Mm.
Dave Matthews Band right now, but
No,
there's hope for the future,
there is hope.
maybe later on. But you're
Hmm.
setting the groundwork. You're like getting him
Yes.
used to it. That's going to be a normal sound of the home. So just
Hmm.
normal sounds for him. But it'll be fun to kind of just continue with that as he grows older. I mean, I'm doing that. It hasn't stuck in one of my children yet. Like they're kind of I don't know if you remember being a teenager. I do. I'm sure you're younger than me, so you do. But like
Yeah.
sometimes if your parents like something, then you're automatically drawn away from it because you don't want to like what your parents like, or like that's considered old music because my mom listened to that when she
Hmm.
was in college. And obviously my mom is a mummy at this point, is what they're thinking of me. So it's old people music. Dave Matthews Band is old people music. That's what my children tell me. So by the time your 4 year old is
Yeah.
18, 19, 20, that might actually be true.
It might be,
It is
but
bona fide.
like I'm one of those rare ones that like the same music as my dad because I did play instruments growing up. I played
You did?
piano and trumpet, so
Oh, awesome.
I was like I mentioned earlier, I was hooked on Chicago. I was hooked on Billy Joel. My first ever concert was Chicago and Earth, Wind and Fire, believe it or
Oh
not,
my
at
God.
12 years old.
Wow.
So
So you were just raised
yeah,
wonderfully, it sounds like. I mean, they were
yeah,
exposing you to great shit.
that Peter Gabriel, Phil Collins,
Wow.
U2, like name anything from the 70s, 80s.
Steely Dan.
Steely Dan,
God
yes.
bless. so many good bands. You know what I'm
Yacht
really
rock,
into right
basically
now?
now.
Yacht rock, totally. Toto, Christopher Cross, Michael McDonald, anything Michael McDonald, like any of
Yeah.
those guys. Oh, sign me up. I love anything that's classified as yacht rock. If you haven't watched the Yacht Rock documentary that's out on HBO Max, please do yourself a favor. And also this documentary, which I had never thought about this. Why the hell is that genre of music called yacht rock? Well, that documentary is going to answer that question because it doesn't really make
Ooh.
sense. Like we all want to go, well, that's the music you listen to while on a yacht. I don't know about your life, but I've never been on a yacht.
Mm-mm.
So it's not the music I listen to on my yacht. But should I be on one?
No.
Absolutely. I'm down with like whatever Christopher Cross wants to sing to me. Sailing? Yes, that sounds appropriate. But I love it. It's just so good, but it explains why they're called that. And then there's some funny things. Speaking of Steely Dan, whoever the lead singer is for Steely Dan, I cannot think of his name right now, but they called him up and asked him why or what his thoughts were about the genre being yacht rock. And he absolutely hates it. He is
Oh.
kind of offended by that genre of music that they worked extremely hard on. Because if you know anything about Steely Dan, they were actually jazz musicians,
Yeah.
that kind of found their way into this. Very, very different, very amazing, like technical studio people. They loved like the engineer, the whole side of that. And so for them to get scooped up in what is called yacht rock, they see that as a demeaning title. So it's interesting, like hearing that side of it too, of how they don't like to be called that genre. So, anywho, so guys, if you are, again, just listening to this as your very first time, be sure to check back. There are episodes that are going to be coming out more often now that we're getting closer to the 2025 tour season, because that's where the anticipation is at. Everybody's ready to talk about Dave. We're ready to talk about what we're going to do, what we want to see, what we don't want to see. Everybody has something different. And so this is the podcast where you're going to hear different people's perspectives on what they want to happen, but also why in the world are they still chasing this band after so long? Again, we have all ages on this show. One of my most recent shows, I had a 13-year-old boy on here who absolutely loves the band. And it's so cool just to hear their perspective of why in 2025, a 13-year-old boy is listening to music that is well over his age, probably more of his parents' age. And so, it's just so interesting to listen to all of these stories. So definitely come back, check out a different episode. If it's not the one for you, there's so many more to choose from. So you will definitely find one you like, but there's some cool things coming up in the podcast in the future. I never know exactly what my schedule is going to look like because I have kids and life is crazy. And so, I'll let you know if we show up at a venue, we'll let you know. And we will be in St. Louis if you will be headed to the Missouri show. And other than that, again, some big changes are coming where you can get more connected in the documentary that I am making that is based loosely off this podcast. So to get more information, again, stay tuned to the future episodes. Sean, I cannot thank you enough for coming back on the show to share your side of the journey, because looking back, there's a lot of people that in the beginning came on the show that we were kind of doing different things. We were breaking down songs. We were doing whatever, I felt like was right at that time. And I love that we did that because I think we did a really good job. It was cool to break down songs and to hear like your thoughts, because often as we were going through the song, we had different interpretations of the same line. So it was cool to just like talk about like, why did you feel that way? Or why did you, feel that way? And so it was really cool. Be sure to check out that episode back in 2023. So guys, until the next time, peace, love, and Dave Matthews Band. Thank you so much, Sean.